Yes, good morning, guys. Uh, how are you? Now, the fact that FastAPI is new, so I'm not saying it's so new, but it's somehow new. There's very few people who try to use FastAPI, and there are very few people who will actually. There are very few videos you'll find step-to-step guide on how to do certain things in an easy way so that you can transition maybe from your frameworks you've been using, let me say the Django, Laravel, Coordinator, to stay in the same MVC format. But that's why I really come in, and I want to tell you that this video is going to show you how to upload an email, a file, any file from maybe from your front end to your back end using FastAPI. So with this, what you see on the screen is something I'm working on, and I don't know why this. Let me reload this. This is something I'm working on. So I'm able to upload all these settings to the back end, and I'm able to select color and choose an SVG to work for as an icon this uh, for this file. So what I'm going to show you is that now we have this side of user categories. So I'm going to try to create one user category. So I'm going to put Apple, and I'm going to say, let me say, let me just, uh then I'm going to create this thing in hip hop. So we can say East African hip hop, hip hop. So I'm going to select its color. So I'm going to choose a file. Let me say I put this. So you can see I've yeah, created a file. Then I'm going to show this developer options. You can see. Then I'm going to create the origin. So you can see East African hip hop has been created. So let's first check on our payload. So our payload is this. This is what we input. This is the color that I chose. This is the file that is going to the backend. Then these are extra um, extra fields. The fact that I'm returning an array of the already existing items. I don't want to do it from the front end. So I want when I create, I actually return exactly on the on the on this the items stay almost the same. So this is refreshing. You can see I'm getting my data back. So what do we how do we do this? One, the usual way of sending your stuff to the back end is the same, but with FastAPI, there is one thing you should change in your Axios settings. So this is view. I'm using view to send that back. So in your Axios settings, you should let this be automatic. Like you see, I have commented it out. I already know this is not a video for people who are just learning. This is a video for people who at least already know something. So you see, I've commented it out. So you have to make sure that this thing is automatic so that FastAPI has a way of interpreting data. So if I send data that has multiple like files or stuff like that, so if I had put here that the content type should be JSON or stuff, it will convert that data to JSON before sending it. Then FastAPI will be confused on how to solve multiple data that has been converted to JSON. So what you do is you comment this out so that um, you let it be automatic. So first API will be able to distinguish that this data is multipath, this data is JSON, this data is well encoded, stuff like that. This data is from a form. So after that, we are going to actually go on where I'm trying to send the method I use to send that origin preference. So this is how I create. So I send this data. So I send it with the route. So this is a route, a post route. Then it uses these Axios settings to send the data. So it already has in progress, all things are set. So, but basically our main point is focusing on how to receive this data, uh, play around with it or save it, edit it, and do different things. So that's where we come in. So based on our project, we set up all those models like the way you see. Let me say I was working with origin preferences. So you set up all those. I almost do many of the things in the model so that I can just keep calling a little bit. So I set up all those things in this. You can see these are my core table fields. Then I also have a base model which adds the ID, the state, the status, created that, and updated that. So these ones add themselves. So I'm using SQL Alchemy. There are other things you can use SQL model, but me, I'm using SQL Alchemy to do this. I've already set up the model. This is the model that will be receiving our data. So it has this title, color, file path, file URL, and normalized title. This is sort of a slug, the way you call it. You can also call it slug if you like, but I usually call this. So now this is the functions. This is the method that we are using to actually do what? To actually this this origin preferences. So uh, uh, it's so mixed up. So basically, this should be around update origin preference. Let's try to do this so that we keep the same naming. So based on our data we send to the back end, we have title, color, file, sort, fields, sort order, and a page. Either one is you can use a dictionary, but me, I extracted directly. You can say I have my title, my color, file. So file, we usually use upload file. So upload file is from FastAPI, as you can see. So I also add a DB. I'm using a synchronous database. Then I also get the current user, or you can call the authenticated user. So I first validate the title. Uh, the title should be more than should be between 2 and 10 characters. So I first initialize the file path of the file URL. So now I create the file. So this is actually where it comes in. So here I created a method which takes in the actual file, which we have here as binary, the way you see it here. Hmm? And actually text in the URL it should take. So you can decide to create a URL here that that the file path, the file should be saved in. So I say file path and file URL should be equal to this. Then I also end up saying file URL should be equal to base URL, which I set in my constants as we're going to go, as we're going to see, plus the file path. So the best URL is to make sure I can access that asset directly from the database. Then I also add this data to the synchronous database, then I commit it, then I refresh it, then I return this. So if I wanted, I could add other files like the way you see I was passing through the sort order and the page per page. As you can see here, I have page and the page, so I can decide to also pass them here, and I have them here dynamically. So um, this is now get all origin preference. This is now passing it to another function that returns a list. This is now the function that returns a list and actually also searches, also filters by status, and then paginates the data. But basically what we are going to talk about is the save upload file. So the save upload file, it is in my utils. So we have the file upload. So we have this method called save upload file. So as you can see, it takes in the file, which is the type of FastAPI upload file, then the path, which is a string. So we have the base URL. This base URL is not shared, it's only in this file. So this is the base URL where we are going to upload this thing. Then also uh, now, how do we create this? So one is you are first going to create a directory where we are going to save our file. So we'll get our upload directory where we want to add the file. We add the path URL. So if the path URL is now, it's just going to be the upload directory that is going to be where that file is going to be saved. So after that, we want to create this directory. So we pass through the absolute path. This is the full path where that file is supposed to be saved. So which I pass through, then I make sure that file actually exists. Then now let's validate the file extension. So we first get the file extension. So we validate it on allowed extensions. So you can add more allowed extensions here. And let me say you can add different, you can add JPG or anything. So whatever you're allowing those files to interact with, make sure you have it on the list of extensions. So so after allowed extensions, if this is not allowed extensions, just says those extensions, that file is not allowed. The allowed extensions are this, and you should check if your file has these allowed extensions. So the second thing is we are going to generate an original name, like a name for our file. We are going to generate a name for our file. So the first thing we do is to get the original name of the file, and we also get a timestamp to make sure those things are different. So you can be uploading like 100 images which have almost the same names, and but the timestamp makes a difference, that image will be uploaded on a different time. So the time cannot have the same millisecond, microsecond. They cannot be the same. So we make a unique file name which is equal to the original uh, name. Then we have underscore. Then we have the timestamp, and we have also the file extension in lowercase. So let's create this path. So file path, mm, is we are going to create the file path, which is equal to this absolute path, which is what is already created. Plus, then we put that file inside of the file path. Then the file URL is to have to make sure that we have the base URL. So the base URL, the fact that we are actually not, we don't need it here. You can comment it out if you like, but our base URL is in our constant file. As you can see, we have a base URL, so we can also import the constant. We can we can try to import can try to import from app.utils dot constants import uh, constants zip. Hmm, let me see something I'm missing. Yeah, so I'm supposed to import the base URL directly. Sorry for that. I'm supposed to import this directly. So from that file, we can now we do this. So this one becomes our base URL. So this is a full path with the link. So we are supposed to return these two, the file path and the file URL. So so uh, so with an exception, we can remove the file. So you can remove the file from where we saved it and return an exception that we couldn't upload the file. Basically, this is how this file works. So you just have to get one file, then you use it to upload all the other all whatever files you upload into the back end, as you can see. As long as you make sure that this file is really here, and if you can try to go to the first API, you can see that when it comes to maybe we're uploading user type, let me say create, you can see that when you can see that this is telling you that this is multi-platform data. And when you try, you can see here it requests for what, for an image, and then this is basically JSON data, so it's multi-platform data. So make sure you have this on your function here, on your method preference, create origin preference. So make sure you have this on your method. Then other things, you after getting this, you can really create this and you're good to go. So with that, I hope you understand. If you want me to share the code, this code, that if you want me to share this file upload, so you can make different twists in here. You can decide if it's an image, create this and that, create a thumbnail. You can all put in one file, then you can always use that file to, you can even add other other requirements, like you can say maybe file type, file type, then you make this string, so that later you can maybe say these files, if they are images, I want it to be able to maybe create thumbnail for all the images. If there are videos, I want to be able to maybe maybe make different versions of the video based on the quality. So this is how the whole thing works. So as long as you create one function, it can do for you all the rest. So it can take in any type of data. It can take it in any type of data. So that, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section. Otherwise, see you next time.